So a huge contributor to mental health issues and brain development, especially in children, get this, social media and digital technology. If you're using technology as a babysitter for your children when they're in the crib to their teenage years, it's a very bad mistake, extremely unhealthy, and is just causing them damage, especially in their developing minds. So here's some statistics. For every hour of screen time your child gets, they have a 10% higher risk of developing ADHD, autism, or other brain and mental issues. So that's for every hour of screen time a day. So if they're getting 3 hours of screen time a day, they have a 30% more chance of developing those mental issues, which is just extremely excruciating, especially because I know that a lot of children out there get way more than 3 hours a day, some even 8 or 9 hours a day. You might want to monitor that. Now, screen time is not all created equal. Those statistics coincide with television screen time. When you actually take a look at iPhones, iPads, and devices similar to those, that increases that risk by 2 or 3 times more. It's habit forming, it's addictive, it does not stimulate creativity, which is part of brain growth and natural brain function, and kids these days just simply don't have that. Now, researchers have actually been looking at this for quite some time. This stems back into the 80s and 90s when I was a kid growing up and cable television came about, and kids became more and more in tune with television, watching more and more of it. Luckily for my family, my parents limited us to an hour and a half to 2 hours every night. That was all we got. We thought it was pretty strict at the time, but essentially we have some of the same rules at our house to this day. So like I said, if you're using technology to babysit your kids, it's extremely unhealthy. It's not creating good habits for them. Actually, boredom is super healthy. It's the best thing that you can do for your kids because it does stimulate that creativity. This part of the brain, the frontal lobe here, is kind of the executive decision-making part of the brain. And when that's not used, when you're zombied out, zoned out into video games, you don't use it, you're losing it. So the gray matter just kind of starts to dissipate, it's not healthy. And we know that decision making is a key thing as we get into the real adult world and have to make decisions on our own. We want that part of the brain to be able to function efficiently and effectively. So technology is good, it has its pluses, but like I said, if you're using it as a babysitter at restaurants to keep your kids quiet, not a good idea. If you're using it to appease them while you're taking road trips, whether they be 10 minutes in the car or 2 hours, also not the best idea. Use those times, and I've said it before, as conversation starters. You can really kind of dig into a child's life, kind of find out what they look for in a friend, what foods they like, what they did with their day, what they did at school, what they're learning in school. Much more productive, much more healthier for you and for them. Takes a little bit more effort, but in the long run, it's definitely well worth it, and your mental health and your child's mental health will prosper because of it. So limit the screen time, folks.